lovely people, Nina here. So this week I figured I would talk about a few new books that I've gotten over the past few weeks. Some I've thrifted and some I have two that are like brand new, simply because I could not find them at the library, nor could I find them used anymore because they're that like recent. And so I try to avoid over consuming books and like limit what I buy, because I feel like there's such a huge issue with overconsumption. I've talked about it a zillion times, but it bugs me, and you'll see why in a second when I show you the books I got at the thrift store. So at the thrift store I got two books, and they're in like perfect condition, like brand new. This one doesn't even look like the spine was cracked on it. So, and the amount of books that are at the thrift store like makes me want to cringe and die. But it's great for me because then I can get books that I've wanted for like nothing. I think these are like $2 each. So the first one I have is A Promised Land by Obama. And he wrote this, fun fact, he wrote this on a yellow like legal pad. He hand wrote the book first. He didn't like type it or anything, he hand wrote it. And I believe there's a second part to this because it ends, if I'm not mistaken, it ends at his first term. And you're thinking, Nina, you've already read this? Correct, I own this and I've already read it. There's a full review on my channel, and the reason I have a second book of it is because the first one I had, I also got used, and I got it at a used book sale, but my dog sat on it and she cracked the spine and it makes me want to cry. And so I've decided that I would get this one, which has a perfectly great spine and is like in mint condition, at the thrift store, and then take my old one that I also got used and put it in a little library, and then someone else can enjoy it. So there's that. I have glued, I feel like I maybe even glued that one. I have glued a spine or two on a book to try to save it. But since I found this one for like nothing, I repurchased it. And I will definitely go back and read this again at some point. So I wanted a good, like, sturdy copy and to keep it away from my dog. The next one I got, I have not read. This is also from the thrift store. This is Shade by Pete Souza. I didn't know what this was about, but it's A Tale of Two Presidents, and it, basically, Pete Souza was Obama's photographer, if you didn't know, and it jumps between Donald Trump and, like, Donald Trump's tweets from his first term, and then, like, Obama, and the contrast of the two, through images. I love Pete Souza, and I had wanted this for a while, but didn't feel it necessary to like purchase. I was like, no, like I'll just wait. I waited, and then it showed up at the thrift store, and I was like, okay, it's in perfect condition, and I can thrift it. So I'm excited to read this because I do follow Pete Souza on Instagram, and his stuff is really cool. And I love his photography, so there's that. And if you're thinking that I sound ill, I do in fact have a cold. I apologize. I sound like really congested, and I'm hearing myself and going, ugh. So sorry about that. I do have a cold, but I'm hopefully at the end of it. The next book I got brand new because I couldn't find it at the thrift store, and I couldn't find it at the library. And I had wanted to read it, and this is Britt Marie Was Here, and this is a novel that goes with the story My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, and I feel like maybe you wouldn't have to read My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, ooh, long title, before this, but I feel like you should. I reviewed that book, I absolutely loved it. And then I was like, that character, when I was reading, I was like, that character sounds really familiar. And I was like, oh yeah, because he wrote a whole separate novel for Britt Marie. And in the other book, Britt Marie is really like uptight and in everyone's business and just very like, I don't know. She's kind of ornery and wants everyone to like fall in line, basically. And in the story, she finds out her husband is cheating on her and she becomes really upset and she leaves and she moves away from the apartment where all these people are and she moves to a different like small town, and this is the story of her in that town and basically trying to just relax more and enjoy life more. And so that's this. I'm excited because I love Frederick Bachman's writing. It's always really sad, so I feel like this is going to be sad, but again, he's a great writer, so that one. And then the last one I got literally last week, and it's The History of Sound, which is by Ben Shattuck. It follows Lionel and David during World War I, and they meet at a bar around a piano. I have read about 15 pages of this. I started it, but I've also been reading, obviously, my September reads. So I started this and it's good so far. I am only to the part where they are traveling and recording sound. So I'm really not that far into it. But the premise, I didn't realize that it like switches perspectives, I think, between people. So it's written in first person, and it starts with World War I, and then it flashes forward, and there's a woman who finds the wax cylinders where they've recorded the sound, and she like sends it back to them, and it starts with that, with him getting the like sound wax things that they've recorded back, and then I guess it just unfolds from there. It says it's like a mystery and murder, and I was like, uh-oh. So I don't know, I really don't know what's gonna happen. They just came out with a movie that's based on this, it's like about this, and I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks really good. I want to read the book first. So I got the book. I've been reading it, all 15 pages so far, and it's good, but I feel like it's going to be really sad. So that's this. This is History of Sound. Yeah, I'm excited. Good so far. This one I haven't started. This one I've read and I like it. And this one I flipped through, but I haven't like sat down to properly read it, and I need to do that. So these are the books that I have collected, just a few, for 2 new and 2 used. I feel like it's a good collection. Yeah, I'm excited. Let me know if you've read any of these before. Like I said, I have read this and I have a full review of it, and I will put it maybe in the link down below in the description. And then, yeah. So that is all for this week's video. I have links down below for Palestine. It's really, really important that you contact your government and hold government officials accountable, and continuously call them and email them and tell them to end the, especially if you're in the U.S., because the U.S. is funding this genocide, and we need to let our representatives know, let the president know that we don't want this genocide. And so it's super important that you are contacting all the representatives. I know there's quite a long list of representatives that have signed on to this I think it's called Stop the Bombs Act, to stop sending bombs and money to Israel that are funding this genocide. I'll put it down below along with all my links about Palestine down below, and where you can find more information and where you can donate. There's also the flotilla. There's a group of a bunch of boats that are trying to break the siege in Palestine. I will put that down below. Greta Thunberg, who I have talked about numerous times on this channel, is on one of those boats, and Israel right now has been bombing the boats at night and just striking them, and they are just carrying humanitarian aid and trying to get to Palestine to bring Palestinians the much needed aid because they are starving to death and they have nowhere to go, and it's awful, and these boats are just trying to get there. So I know Italy and Spain have both sent Navy, like naval ships, to try to help and get these boats to safety. Last I checked, they were in Greek waters, again trying to get to Palestine. It is very important and necessary that they get there safely and peacefully. So I will put that information down below to contact. There's people from the US on these boats as well. So contact your representatives and let them know that they need safe passage to Palestine to get Palestinians the medical aid and food supplies and everything that they need, because this genocide is awful, and if I can do one thing and it's speak on it and contact representatives and tell you all to contact representatives and your people in power, then I feel like I can do a little bit of something. Yeah. Again, I will put that all down below, and make sure that you are following along with everything that's happening in Palestine and everything that's happening with these boats, to make sure that they get the safe passage. So that is it for this week. I love you all. Again, that's all down below. As always, free Palestine. Bye.